So we'll start with group A and group E. Sorry, let me. Right. So we're looking at the Wu family, and in this case that means the Joy Luck Club as a short story, not the Joy Luck Club, the entire novel, with narrative shifts. Where is group E? Group E, okay. Take keyboard, please type your claim, and then we'll do some claim proofing and see how you're going to support it. Move on to group A and see what ideas they have. Hold on a second. Go for it. Feedback, criticism. What might you do to improve this claim? Michael?
What was the knowledge about her mother?
I think that Michael's right, that somehow we need to qualify what this knowledge is. So, explain. What have you got? What do you mean about knowledge about her mother? Tell me a little bit about that, and we'll see how you can rewrite the claim.
She's kind of like her background information or what the story is like. I mean, like, you could do something specific.
So does Jingmei know that? Does Jingmei not know that? What are the flashbacks helping us understand about her knowledge?
Her mother's childhood, like how it affects why she was where she was.
Does Jingmei know this childhood? Does she know the story? Kind of. Explain kind of.
I mean, like she has, I think, one story about when she was leaving and she had to like leave her two children behind, but that's.
Let me see if this works, Ashley. Jingmei's understanding of her mother is gradual, correct? She grows to understand her mother. So how does Tan convey that through the story? I'll throw that open to anybody. Omar.
Doesn't she like make the story more cohesive as time goes on, like at a good ending and then change?
Sure. Suyan, Jingmei's mother, does constantly retell the story, and it becomes more accurate every time and more depressing and tragic every time. That is correct. So we get differences with the story. We're focusing on flashback, though. You can't lose sight of what you've stated in the claim. The claims device is flashback. If you're saying that we use flashback, then let's focus on flashback and how flashback could accomplish something. No ideas? Yeah, Sydney.
Say like you could like story flashbacks, like flashbacks that help her like understand her mother when she flashbacks her mother is telling the story. So that's what most of it called.
Tell you what, let's table this for a moment. Group A, where are you? Okay, pass the keyboard over. Let's see what Group A is doing. Because we found in second period today that quite often one group's claim would relate in some way, it wouldn't be identical to, but relate in some way to another's. So let's see what this group is doing. Control A, please. In the Joy Luck Club, Tan uses flashback to inform the reader about the Joy Luck Club and its significance to the characters. I think we can clean this up just a little bit. In the Joy Luck Club, Tan uses flashback to inform the reader of the Joy Luck Club's apostrophe S significance. CE, not TS. and then delete everything else. Good. Okay, Richa, explain a little bit about where you're going with this.
We decided to do this because, like, she's really informing the readers about how the Joy Luck started and the mother from China, how she brought it over because of this kind of experience stuff. So, like, the flashback is what is informing how the Joy Luck.
But why did she choose flashback? Why didn't she tell it straight? Why didn't Tan tell the story of China and then tell the story of Jingmei going to the Joy Luck Club? Why did she insert the story of China inside the story of Jingmei at the Joy Luck Club? Authors rearranged, right? The fabula lays out one way, the plot lays out another. She has switched parts around. So you're correct in everything you're saying, but my next question is why? Why would she do that? Colin? Okay, so we present an action, her going to the Joy Luck Club. We present that action, establish it first, and you might ask why. Why is she doing this? Why is she going here? And then you flash back to give the answer to that question? Is that where you're going, Colin? Kind of, Michael?
Like the flashback could occur while Jingmei is at the Joy Luck Club, is sort of used to explain Jingmei's mother's significance to the Joy Luck Club and what she means to the other women in the club.
So does this then underscore the importance of why Jingmei is there? Yeah. Jingmei is taking a place at the Joy Luck Club, right? There's an empty seat at the table. Jingmei is taking it. She's obviously uncomfortable doing that. She doesn't feel that she can fill her mother's shoes. So we as readers might be asking, why is she being forced to do this? Why is she taking on this role? Why is she accepting this responsibility? In other words, the beginning of the story raises a number of questions. Questions that have not yet been answered. Questions that she answers how? Using flashback. Thank you very much. So, if we're talking about this claim right here, here's how we support it. First, we talk about the A, and the A is the present. If you are defending flashback, you must have an A-B structure, A being the present, B being the past. So the flashback, you must address both. One group in second period this morning was developing only the B, only the flashback. But if there's no reference there, there's no flashback, and you're not supporting the claim. So we've got A, the present, B, the past. Present is Jingmei in the Joy Luck Club. That explains that event. The past explains the importance. So why flashback? Because it gives the history necessary to understand the significance, understand the importance. So I think Richa and Colin and everybody else in that group, you might actually take a cue from Michael and specify this a little bit to say in the Joy Luck Club, Tan uses flashback to inform the readers about Jingmei's importance in the Joy Luck Club. To inform the reader, to explain to the reader Jingmei's importance in the Joy Luck Club. So I think that specifies it, that tightly focuses it. Remember that you are focusing not on the Joy Luck Club in general, but you're focusing on the Wus. You're focusing on Jingmei and Suyan.
Would the flashbacks also be used to explain what the Joy Luck Club is?
True. However, that's probably a claim that is fairly superficial and simple because it's just explanation. But now we're talking about importance and significance. And that's something a little bit more interesting of a claim. But you're right, Michael, we could go that way too. All right, uses flashbacks to convey Jingmei's knowledge about her mother. These two seem to be separate. So it's possible that Tan is using flashbacks for multiple purposes. It's more than possible, it's probable. So let's take a look at this again. Let me see what I can do with what we've got. She has gradual understanding of her mother. She understands her mother in bits and pieces over time. the flashbacks allow us, the readers, to understand her mother how? Gradually. So, do you see the coincidence there, or the similarity? If she has a gradual understanding of her mother, Jingmei does, we also have a gradual understanding of her mother, and how does that happen? Gradually, I know, but what's the mechanism? Flashback, thank you. So we get flashbacks in bits and pieces. And what might be even better, Ashley and your entire group, is not just to talk about the big flashback to China, but also talk about the little flashbacks. You remember we got little micro flashbacks? She's having a conversation in the kitchen and suddenly she flashes back to a conversation she had with her mother. And you can see how in bits and pieces we receive information about Su Yan. And we don't receive the vital information about Su Yan until toward the end, or about 2/3 of the way into the Joy Luck Club. So what you're showing is that each flashback, flashback 1, flashback 2, flashback 3, each imparts a different piece of information gradually. And thus our experience is the same as Jingmei's experience. So Tan as an author is trying to make us feel what Jingmei feels. And I think that that's a consistent strategy throughout the Joy Luck Club. She wants you to feel the same way that these characters feel. And so she's using flashback to do that. Does that make sense? Okay, because I think that that's where we take your core idea and shape it to something that's really specific and very insightful. Michael?
On page 31, at the end of the chapter, Jingmei talks about how she doesn't really understand her mother and that she doesn't really know her mother.
But
So,
is that true?
not really.
I think she knows a lot more than she thinks she knows. And I think that that's the exact point made by the story, is that she actually knows a heck of a lot about her mother, but she believes that she doesn't. Maybe she's just never reflected on what she knows about her mother. Maybe she's just never decided to actually think about anything that she knows about her mother. But I think that that story contradicts what she's saying right there. Because you see through the story how much she knows. She knows a ton about her mother. And then at the end she's saying, I don't know anything about her. And she's saying, well, I guess I'll just tell stories. And the women around her are saying, of course you'll tell stories. That's what we do. And then what are you reading for the next 300 pages?
Okay.
Exactly. So do you see the point there?
Yeah.
Okay. There was another hand?
Yeah. So would we have to change our claim?
Yeah, I would change the claim a little bit. In the Joy Luck Club, Amy Tan uses, how about, let's qualify it this way. Somebody typed, thank you, Kristen. In the Joy Luck Club, Amy Tan uses repeated flashbacks to gradually develop understanding of Su Yan, S-U-Y-U-A-N. Yeah. Wu. It's a pretty name. To gradually develop understanding of Su Yan Wu. That work? That makes sense? And you can make an observation in your development how your understanding as a reader, without using the I, of course, is similar to Jingmei's understanding. Good? Okay, cool. We're going to go a little bit slower with narrative shifts and narrative perspective because these are new concepts. We're going to hightail it through imagery and